Ano lang po ang pwede kong sabihin, ma'am?
Anything that is about,
Ang
that is
nangyayari kasi
contained
dito,
in the affidavit.
Madam
ang
Chair.
gusto lang pong mapakinggan dito kay kung ano lang naaayon sa mga miyembro dito. Paano po yung mga
You
posisyon
are-
naman na nasa kabila? Two manifestations, ma'am. Number one is to present public records as to the background of the witness. Just
So-
information about the witness.
If that pertains to the credibility of resource person Ramil Madriaga, I will have to prevent you. With all due respect, Honorable Marcoleta.
Not really about the credibility, ma'am, but about the character of the witness.
The character and the
identity
credibility
of
are
the
one and the
witness.
same.
Yes, ma'am, if I may be allowed.
And therefore, you are not allowed because character is credibility.
Ma'am, if I may clarify, prior to this hearing, I saw reports that you said that the purpose of this hearing is to test the credibility of Mr. Madriaga, but now we are now denying
At least
The
with
objective of
respect
this
to the
hearing.
contents of the affidavit.
affidavit.
So long as it is contained in the affidavit, then we are confined in the limitations of a clarificatory hearing.
So ang manifestation, ma'am, should be confined only to the
We can test the
directive of the chair.
credibility so long as it is
Okay,
is
ma'am.
limited to the contents
ma'am.
of the affidavit.
Then I will go to the second manifestation.
Okay.
This is also regarding the affidavit itself.
Okay, you may proceed.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I have carefully reviewed the written testimony, and I am compelled as member of this House and as a representative of the Filipino people to formally place on the record observations that I believe this committee must confront before it receives, admits, or gives any weight to this document. The issues I will raise go not merely to credibility, but about the it is about the content of the affidavit itself. Number one, Madam Chair, I respectfully submit the following. Number one, the testimony is entirely uncorroborated and rests solely on the word of a detained criminal suspect.
You are touching on the credibility again.
Ma'am, but
And
this is
please,
about
It has
the
been
testimony.
amply discussed, Honorable Marcoleta, that even suspects are presumed innocent. Hindi pa po convicted si Ramil Madriaga, and he is entitled to that presumption. So let us refrain from making reference to the fact that he is detained in going against the contents of the affidavit.
Ano lang po ang pwede kong sabihin, ma'am?
Anything that is about,
Ang
that is
nangyayari kasi
contained
dito,
in the affidavit.
Madam Chair.
Ang gusto lang pong mapakinggan dito kay kung ano lang naaayon sa mga miyembro dito. Paano po yung mga
You
posisyon
are-
naman na nasa kabila?
You're making mention about the fact that he is a detainee because of your intention to question his credibility. As you have said,
Ma'am,
you want to
if I may be
tackle
allowed
his
to finish the
character.
statement, it's
Yes.
just, the one I mentioned is just a title. I'm not even going to the body of my manifestation, ma'am. Ano, title pa lang po ang sinasabi ko, I'm being prevented
All
na
right,
from
please
speaking.
proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The written testimony makes sweeping and dramatic claims about alleged high-level private conversations between former President Rodrigo Duterte and others, including a purported agreement to use President Marcos merely as a political tool and unseat him by 2025, alleged plans to sabotage the administration of a sitting president, discussions about assassination by poisoning or other means, plans for a military coup and the siege of Malacanang Palace, and the witnesses' own alleged role in recruiting criminal syndicates, underworld gangs, and Mindanao mercenaries for a destabilization scheme. Madam Chairman, I ask this committee to carefully consider the following. Not a single one of these claims is supported by any document, any recording, any other named witness, or any contemporaneous written record of any kind. We are being asked to accept as evidence in a constitutional impeachment proceeding the bare and uncorroborated written recollections of a man currently detained for kidnap for ransom, a man whom the PNP anti-kidnapping group officially described as the leader of one of the most dangerous criminal syndicates in recent Philippine history. The standard of evidence in an ordinary criminal case already demands corroboration of testimony from interested or compromised witnesses. The standard in an impeachment proceeding, which carries the gravest of political and constitutional consequences, must demand no less and arguably demands far more. Number two, Madam Chair, the witness places himself as an active participant in the very conspiracy he described. Madam Chairman, I wish to draw the committee's attention to a point that I believe has not been sufficiently examined. This witness is not a passive observer of the events he describes. By his own written account, he is an active and willing participant in them. According to this written testimony, if I may read, Madam Chair, the witness claims he was personally consulted by the former President, Duterte, and offered strategic advice. He personally recommended the creation of a dedicated security unit for the Vice President and identified its headquarters. He claims he was given specific assignments to recruit civil groups, school clubs, fraternities, underworld criminal gangs, and syndicates as part of an alleged plan to destabilize the government. He describes having knowledge of and apparent proximity to discussions about assassinations, coups, and the assault of the presidential palace. Madam Chair, if we take this testimony at face value, then the man sitting before this committee is not merely a witness. He is, by his own admission, a co-conspirator in a criminal enterprise of the highest order. He is a man who claims to have knowingly participated in plots that, if true, would constitute rebellion, sedition, and conspiracy to commit murder among the gravest crimes under Philippine law. This raises a question that this committee cannot in good conscience ignore. Why is this self-confessed co-conspirator being presented here as a credible witness, rather than being investigated and prosecuted for the crimes he himself admits to participating in? And more importantly, has this witness been offered any form of immunity, protection, or accommodation in exchange for this testimony? If so, this committee and the Filipino people have an absolute right to know.